Hi, I'm Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be putting together my 2026 book journal. This is the first year that I'm book journaling and I'm so excited to set everything up and just make it look pretty. I have started putting some pages together and I have an idea of what pages I want to put into it. So we're just going to get started. I don't really have a huge plan for this video, so we'll just see where it goes. When I'm doing like putting my book journal together is that I'm really not very creative. Like I try to be, but I think I just love the like idea of being able to have a book journal that shows everything that I can flip back through and look at. And that doesn't mean that I like come up with the best spreads, and like I see so many people doing such beautiful things all over YouTube and Pinterest, and like I'm not at that level. Maybe I would be if I started prepping this like months in advance, but I'm kind of just doing what I think is fun and calling it a day. These could be better for sure, but I'm enjoying where we're at. Pages that I want to work on today. And so we've done the complete 26 and 26, and then the BRB picks, that's this one. I want to put like a cover on each of these. There's 12, and then the ratings underneath. And then for the 26 and 26, you guys probably saw it enough in the time lapse, but I'll flip back to it. There is, I just added a little bit more pizzazz to the title, and then I think I'll just like do check marks in the top corners as we go to signify that I'm like done with them or whatever. So next up is going to be our book of the month pages, which I think I'm just going to do this bookmark as a border. I don't use all of my book of the month bookmarks because I'm a terrible patron. And then I can just list them over here. And then Fairy Loot, I might go print out their logo to include. Same with Owl Crate, L'Oreal, Moonlight, Aardvark. We'll see. Back to the time lapse. That might be all that I get to today. I'm still waiting for some like tools to get here to make it easier, like a paper slider, some stencils. So I think maybe we'll call this like setting up my book journal part 1, because I'm obviously not done with it. And there are quite a number of pages in here that I will be creating throughout the year. Like I don't feel like I need to set up every single spread before the year even begins. I think we'll call it there, and we'll see what else I can get done between now and I guess the next time. When I do have a full journal, it will literally not be until the very end of the year. So I feel like this is a good place to start. Maybe let's like walk through what each page is going to be, and then we'll call it. So this is my table of contents. I have already filled in a lot of it, but there are plenty more than 114 pages. So I kind of figure as I need more space, I'll just add stuff on in here. And then we've got my cover page. These are all of my book goals for the year. I'll make another video talking about all of those. This is my 26 and 26 tracker. I have made 23 and 23, 24 and 24 challenges, and I just don't really stick to them. So I'm really wanting this to be a challenge that I actually stick to. And I want to be able to look back on this spread at the end of the year and be like, wow, there were some really great reads in there and I read everything. So one of the things I want to do is put all of these on my TBR cart to pick my TBRs for the month and really prioritize getting these books in. We'll see how that goes. These are my seasonal TBRs. So I haven't done a ton with this, but this is winter, spring, summer, and fall. And I will obviously zhuzh these up in as I make those TBRs. I probably will make my winter TBR probably around Christmas, New Year's. These are just my monthly numbers. So this is for like types of books I've read. So this is book spread, rereads, arcs, library, and shelf. So I can kind of keep track of like what I have actually read. And then this is my TBR tracker specifically. So I want to basically keep track of how many I added, what I read off of my TBR, how many I removed from my TBR, and then my total TBR number. So those are why those are different. I know they look sort of similar, but this is actual reads total versus just the TBR tracker. And then this is books I read throughout the year. I think I'm just going to add books as I read. I think the books are going to be a little bit bigger than I have here because those titles are super small. And then this is every single book I read in 2026. I'll put the name with the author, and I left quite a bit of space just anticipating that it'll probably be a number of reads. And then we've got library reads, Kindle reads, audiobooks, long reads, rereads, new to me authors, which I'm excited to track, and a release year tracker. So I'm just going to put tally marks. I kind of expect that this is going to end up being super concentrated towards obviously the more recent years. And then this is series I've finished. So as you may have expected, I will be putting series that I finished right here. My ARC tracker. I think I'm just going to list all of them on these pages. Bookish acquisitions. This is any books that I have bought, been gifted, been sent from PR, whatever it might look like. And I might come up with like a color code to use for this. Let's make a note of that actually so I don't forget. I just added 2 bookish acquisitions. This is unhauls. So any book that I choose to get rid of. 5-star reads. Gifted books. So I'm going to use this as like, I guess, books that I gift other people, which should be fun to track. Buddy reads just with anybody. I'm not going to really like do much with this page, I think, until I have my first buddy read of the year. But I think it would be fun to do just like book title, who I read it with, or who I read it with, and then book title. This is the BRB picks. You saw me make this in this video, but I'm gonna essentially put the covers here and then put the ratings underneath. I was just gonna list any book of the month reads over here. Same thing with Fairy Loot. Same thing with Owl Crate, same thing with Allurial, same thing with Moonlight, same thing with Aardvark. This is my sub box pick, so each month I'll be able to write in kind of what books I got from my various sub boxes, which are all listed right before that, so it shouldn't be too hard to put that in. These are going to be my favorite covers of the year. I want this to be a really pretty spread because the whole point of it is the covers are really pretty, so I feel like the spread should be as well. This is my 2025 Bookmas tracker. I'm gonna set it up similar to the 26 and 26, but I'll do that and like print all of the covers out as soon as Bookmas is over, so after Christmas. This is just for the haul, so I'll do a similar thing for 2026. These are gonna be monthly spreads, so what I want to put on here is the actual books that I read, just all listed, maybe with ratings, because I'll already have listed them in order on the other pages. So I'll put the ratings. I'm gonna make another note while I'm talking about this. I'll have my stats on the other monthly page, so I don't know that I need to put as much into that. So I think among the spread that I'll be able to fit all of that in because it's 2 pages. And then the rest of the next pages are just the various monthly spreads: May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. From there, whoops, we're getting into, I want a page for each of my favorite books, so I'll print out a big version of the cover, my rating, which will hopefully be a 5-star. I would like to put like a little summary in there and then thoughts that I had, or maybe I'll just like print out my review and paste that, might be fun. So I have obviously 12 pages for each of the month's favorites. And then I've got a book bracket, which I need to kind of design in there. I haven't decided if I'm just gonna print one, put it in there, probably not. I think I'll probably draw it. Favorite quotes, this is gonna be a multi-page spread, and then I'll probably end up adding more at the end. Same thing with book dedications. I wanna write down every single book dedication that I read. We've got goals check-ins, so I'll do each of those probably at the end of the quarter when I'm filling them out. Got a top 10 of 2026 spread, which I'm excited to make. It'll probably just be like, 1, 2, maybe like top 10 over here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll see, because I do want to rank those closing spreads with final stats for the year. And then we've got books I returned to the library without reading. And these are all podcast reading lists, so I want to go through and add to all of them and then check them off as I read them. Not that I have to read every single book, but I kind of like just having lists. That's what my book journal will contain. And I know it doesn't look like a lot of everyone's book journals, but it's very personal to me. And I do think I want to get started early on creating my spreads for next year and just see how I like it. I'm very into having like tangible media because I feel like so much of life is digitized, my own included. I love Notion. I love the convenience that it gives to be able to kind of keep everything at your fingertips, but not necessarily that because of that we're not tracking things and like lists as much and all that. So anyway, that's my book journal so far. You can kind of tell that some pages are starting to get expanded and others not so much. I'm gonna put all my crafting supplies away, and then I am excited to journal with you guys in 2026, and I'm sure I'll upload probably some videos similar to this throughout. That's where I'm at for now. Thank you so much for coming. I will see you in the next one.